My name is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Let's take a look at the fourth chapter of the Tao Te Ching. Let's go into a screen sharing mode. And let's see. Tao Te Ching, chapter 4. The Tao is like a well, used but never used up. Our brains are complex. In the latter chapters of the book Cosmos, written by Carl Sagan, we talk about the brains, the human's brains, are complex, limbic system, and neocortex. It seems, arguably, each human's are complex is hardwired for fear. Fear is hypervigilant of many dangers, including that of scarcity. Scarcity can feed our ruthlessness, our competition, and our cruelty. And its rigidity and aggression is often categorized by the Tao Te Ching as yang. However, as mammals, we have a limbic system that is hardwired for empathy and compassion and cooperation. And as primates, we have a neocortex, which is remarkably clever. When we marry the cleverness of our neocortex with the empathy, compassion, and propensity for cooperation of our mammalian limbic system, we can transcend, we can break the bonds of scarcity and fear and competition and cruelty, and instead soar in the skies of compassion and cooperation. Let's continue. It is like the eternal void, filled with infinite possibilities. One moment. I'm going to adjust something real quick. What is like the eternal void? It is a pronoun referring to the Tao. The Tao not as an entity or a being or a pantheon, but merely as a system, a way of living that is predicated upon vulnerable, yielding simplicity that is non-conceptual and balances centeredness with spontaneity. It's this system which is available to all beings, and it is as such filled with infinite possibilities. And here is the play on words. On one hand, we have voidness or emptiness, and the other hand, we have fullness. So emptiness and fullness seem like opposites. And so the irony is when we empty ourselves of aggression and scatteredness and contrivance and defensiveness and productivity, what's left? What fills that void left behind? Gentleness, patience, yieldingness, passivity, vulnerability, non-conceptuality, the antidote to both scatteredness and which is centeredness, and the antidote to contrivance, which is spontaneity. And from there, profound possibilities flow like pure water from a spring. When we find ourselves come face to face with the real life dangers of people dealing with us unfairly, legally, or financially, and we are at a loss of what to do, yes, there are experts we can turn to and avail ourselves of, which can be wise. But while we're waiting for the legal wheels to turn, we can use the meditations of awareness and acquiescence to enter a more resourceful, centered, flowing state. Let us continue. It is hidden, but always present. So the yang possibilities in our culture, in all cultures, are right there in our face, bombarding us. We see action movies where the hero or heroine are adults of action who actively, beat up the bad guys with their superpowers or destroy them utterly in a court of law through their great cleverness. However, hidden in most societies are the great men and women of spirituality, of acquiescence, of simplicity, patience, and compassion. We continue. I do not know who gave birth to it. It is older than God. And this is a delightful passage, a couplet, if you will. In this couplet, Lao Tzu is, in his own way, lampooning the idea of relying upon a real or imagined god, goddess, pantheon, or celestial entity, or transdimensional entity, if you prefer. He's not saying they don't exist. He's saying this Tao, this system, is not a god or any of the above celestial entities I just rattled off. He says it's older than a god because it's not sentient. It's a system that can be accessed. Consider, if you will, what us common folk, us non-scientists know or have heard about the Big Bang. After the Big Bang, particles coalesced and eventually formed hydrogen. They did not strive to do this. This was created simply by the interplay of one of the four fundamental forces in the universe. I'm going to state them out of order. There is gravity, electromagnetism, the strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force. These aren't sentience. These are just properties in all matter, regardless of their size, that are consistently observable. So non-sentient electrons and protons found their way to each other. They did not seek each other. They just allowed this coalescence to occur. And we had hydrogen. After a period of time, the hydrogen just coalesced together in great nebulae. The nebulae continued to coalesce. We had stars. Stars went through their life cycle, and eventually when they ran out of helium in their fusion furnaces, they exploded. Or actually, they burned helium. And the helium became more complex, and the material, as it grew in complexity, became the elements that we know of today in the periodic table of elements. No sentience was evolved. There was just coalescence. There was just flowing. Eventually, the supernova would explode, spewing not only hydrogen, but all the other natural elements in great clouds that coalesce to form the second generation of stars that include our solar system. All that we know, all that we have ever seen or heard or smelled or tasted or touched is the fruit of coalesced star stuff. It all happened naturally. It all happened spontaneously. This could be alluded to in this passage, that things can happen without entities making them happen. Things just, over a great period of time, happen spontaneously. And that is the essence of the path of yin. Let's continue. Well, that's the end of chapter 4. That's all the Tao Te Ching that you get this week. Remember, below the video is a button that reads Show More. When you click that, you can gain access to various tools to help you upon the contemplative and philosophical path. Until next we speak, remember, whatever comes, let it come. Whatever stays, let it stay. Whatever goes, let it go.